What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Pigskin Pete. Happy Friday to everybody. Just out here on my morning walk. I do this every morning for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how much time I have, what I have to do today and whatnot. But I figured, since I'm out here walking anyway, and just thinking about random things, sometimes sports related, sometimes not sports related, sometimes things that are in the news, whether it's world news, local news, fake news, whatever. I figured since I'm out here just thinking about these random things anyway, it wouldn't hurt to turn on the camera and share some of my thoughts with all of you people out there in YouTube land. So this may be something I decide to do 2 or 3 times a week, depending on if there's anything I want to talk about while I'm out here walking. I may as well make good use of my time and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Like I said, sometimes these videos will be sports related, sometimes they won't. All right, but I do a lot of sports shows for all the people who are just here for sports. I have the Lunch Money Show every Monday night on Uncle Lou's channel. We talk about sports betting. I've got a couple of college football call-in shows a week, Wednesday and Friday night, every week at 10 p.m. I have the ACC show, at least during the season, me and C-Dog Morgan, and that's every Tuesday at 7 p.m. All right, so the first topic of discussion for today is going to be something I've talked about in the past. I think I might have even made a video on it a couple of years ago. I can't remember. But something happened last night at the Thursday night football game that reminded me of this. I don't understand why we need wild animals, and in particular, not just wild animals, but dangerous types of wild animals, to make appearances at live sporting events for no reason. I understand it's cool. All right, you have a mascot. You want to trot your mascot out there. Everyone gets a good laugh. Everyone gets a good thrill out of it. Look, this is a disaster waiting to happen. So last night at the game, of course, the Seattle Seahawks have a hawk. And not only do the Seattle Seahawks have a hawk, they have a hawk like every other team that has a bird of prey for a mascot. They let it fly around the stadium before the game. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have ever seen what a hawk looks like up close. They're giant animals with knives on their feet. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Philadelphia Eagles have the same thing. You know, they have an eagle that flies around the stadium before each game. I know Auburn does this, right? With the war eagle flying around the stadium before the game. But I've been saying for years, it's just a matter of time before one of these birds seriously hurts somebody. I mean, you got kids in the stands. Now, what happened last night was this hawk landed on this guy's shoulder and then kind of got up on his head. And I guess he didn't cause any serious injuries. He's lucky he didn't get seriously injured. I mean, what would they do if that hawk decides he wants to claw that guy's eyes out? There's nothing you're going to do to stop that. And you can say, oh, Pete, you're overreacting. These birds are trained. They have trainers. Look, this isn't a parakeet. These things are trained killers. It's in their DNA for millions and millions of years to kill. And I will be goddamned if I'm going to pay $200 for a ticket, or if I'm taking my family up to $300, $400, $500 for all of our tickets, pay $40 for parking, pay God knows how much for a hotel if the stadium's out of town, pay $10 for a beer, $7 for a hot dog. Now I'm almost $1,000 deep to go to this game. And a giant bird with razor feet lands on my head. Look, this has to stop. It's not just birds, too. All kinds of other animals, wild animals. They call them wild for a reason, people. These are not domesticated animals. I don't have a problem with, like, let's say the Georgia Bulldogs, for example. All right, you got a cute little bulldog, you put him in a pet carrier, or build a little dog house for him on the sideline and let him lay in there and sleep and drink water during the game. All right, that's not hurting the dog, okay? It's not hurting anybody else. There's no threat that that dog is gonna do anything to cause harm to anybody. So you guys remember a few years ago at the Sugar Bowl, it was Texas versus Georgia. And of course, Texas has this giant steer, Longhorn, as a mascot. And that's not good enough. They actually have to have one, and they have to name him. His name is Bevo. And not only do they have to have him and own him, but they have to trot him out on the field. Or more importantly in this scenario, on the sidelines that is packed with people before the game. And as if that wasn't enough, they had to get a photo op with Uga, the Bulldog, which is about, I don't know, a foot off the ground, a foot tall, 2 feet tall, I don't know, with Bevo, which is, I don't know, how much does this damn thing weigh? This is like a 1,500 pound animal. Anyway, something spooks Bevo, so he starts charging and thrashing and dragging around his handlers. Look, if Bevo decided that he wanted to just start goring people, there is nobody in that stadium stopping him from doing it. By the time they got the tranquilizer darts out, he could have already killed 4 people. Again, mark my words, it's just a matter of time before Bevo seriously injures somebody or worse, kills them. So there's just a couple of examples. The birds of prey really gets under my skin. This giant, massive bull or a steer or whatever, I don't even know what type of cow it is. It just looks like a big steak to me. But it does have what 8-foot horns on each side of its head. Eventually one of those horns is going to end up in somebody's eyeball or maybe worse, up their ass. And eventually when it does happen, then you're going to have a big outrage. Oh, how could this happen? Who would have thought this would happen? And then you can tell people, well, Pigskin Pete said it would happen. Look, this fascination that we have as Americans, and not just Americans, I'm sure there's other people too, with wild animals, it's disturbing. And which brings me to my next point. People that own wild animals in their home. I'm not talking about a dog. I'm not talking about Felix the cat. I'm talking about giant snakes, alligators, tigers, pumas. Just look at what's going on in Florida right now. You got all these assholes down there. You know, a dog's not good enough. A cat's not good enough. You know, a guinea pig not good enough. They got to go out and get alligators and shit, pythons. And then what happens is they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So they get themselves an alligator. They don't realize that son of a bitch is going to grow to be 10 feet long. And then you can't keep it in the bathtub anymore, Jack. So then, of course, you get these people that get these pythons. You know, they get them when they're like 3 feet long. You know, 6 months later, the damn thing's 20 feet long. You know, you got to get it out of the house, right? It's going to eat you. It's going to eat your baby. It's going to eat your dog. Whatever's in the house, it's going to end up eating it. So what do? You release it. Not responsibly, right? You don't call whatever the animal control or the experts are on, you know, giant snakes that are not native to the area. No, you don't do that. You just take them out into the woods somewhere in the Everglades or in the marsh, a couple miles away from the house, and dump it off like it's a dead body or something. And before you know it, the entire state is overrun with these giant snakes from South America. And unfortunately, you have to hear these tragic stories about these snakes and other wild animals killing people's, you know, babies and children. That's sad that their parents are so stupid. So that is terrible when that happens. But one person or one group of people I do not feel sorry for when they get hurt or killed by these animals are the grown adults that decided to bring them in their house in the first place. You know, if Billy, the grown man, decides he wants to bring a giant animal into his house that he has no idea how to take care of, and it ends up killing him in his sleep, I'm not going to lose any sleep. Honestly, the world is probably better off without Billy in the first place. All right, guys. Well, thanks for walking with me this morning and listening to me rant about my wild animals. What did we learn today? There's no need for wild animals at sporting events, and there's no need to have dangerous reptiles slash birds of prey slash giant cats. And you can just go on down the list from there in your house. Okay, that's what we learned today. But I will see all of you guys tonight at 10 p.m. For the most underrated college football call-in show on all of YouTube. I'll see you then. Your boy, Pigskin Pete, is checking out.